Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. And before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking. And that is the Givenchy Antigona in the black pebbled leather with the silver hardware. I have been using this bag for a little bit and I am looking forward to doing a first impression on it. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's go to work. Whatever it is that you do, come join me because I have some amazing questions for you this week. Starting with the first question, my very good friend Andre, Marcia, Colette, and a few others. This was actually the most requested topic for Minks Monday this week, and that is, I would absolutely love to hear your take on the Neo Noe Strap. Do you think one is better than the other? Some are allowed to have their straps exchanged due to good relationships with their sales associates, yet others are told that's the way that they're made now. Your thoughts, please. Fantastic question, and for those of you that don't know, Louis Vuitton recently released a bag called the Neo Noe a few weeks ago. We discussed it here on Minks Monday, and this bag has caused quite an uproar on YouTube, on social media, because the fashion house introduced this bag with two different kinds of drawstring straps to them. One of them has stitching, one of them does not. Now, I might end up getting quite a bit of negativity on what I'm about to say, but I've also said that I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I mean, I remember when I first heard about it, I was absolutely floored. It blew my mind that the fashion house would introduce a bag with two different kinds of straps. Because the reason why it just kind of blew my mind is because there's already been quite a bit of discussions on quality issues with Louis Vuitton. A lot more people have come forward talking about their items. There's a lot more forums on them as far as the quality goes. And if anything, it has caused more people to be a little bit more apprehensive about either adding more items to their collection from the fashion house or even deciding about delving into the fashion house in general. So by them introducing a bag with two different straps, I feel is going to cause more doubt in the client's mind. Because let's say that you got the one that has stitching. What if you're thinking, well, what if the smoother one ends up wearing better? What if that one so now the what ifs start to come into play, and it's causing that much more doubt in the person's mind. They're going to think about the longevity of the item. What if, you know, maybe mine will last longer if it had that strap, and the people that have the stitching or that have the smooth one will think the opposite, and they'll think, oh, the one with stitching will end up wearing a lot better. You know what I mean? So again, that doubt ends up just kind of being a little bit more in your face. And I mean, it's almost like, I don't want to, obviously I don't work for the brand, but in my head I'm thinking, it's almost like they said, well, we don't know which one we want to go for. Let's just throw them both out there. You know, it's like, let's just do it and see what happens. What's going to happen is that you're going to have tons of emails, tons of phone calls, tons of people that want to know why their strap has this. Now, kind of like what my very good friend Andre said in her question, there are some sales associates that are getting the straps replaced. Like let's say that you had the stitched one, you want the one that's smooth. Some sales associates are going to do that for their clients, but then there's also some sales associates that said, sorry, this is what you got, it is what it is. And this is where we talk about what we talked last week. It's so inconsistent. Why would you introduce a bag with two different straps knowing that something like this would end up happening? You know what I mean? They completely missed the mark here, and it just seems like it's turned into absolute anarchy. And the fact that, some sales associates are just like, it is what it is, everything's going to be fine or whatever it is. I mean, not when it's caused this much uproar, like I said before, when it's caused this much attention on any platform, it's something that they should listen to. And do I think one is better than the other? Only from, I've seen some bags or some backpacks that have the stitching on the drawstring, and it seems to wear fine. I can only speak from personal experience from the backpacks that I've had that had the same drawstring, the same drawstring strap, and mine didn't have any stitching. And I just felt that with the constant friction of opening and closing the bag with that same drawstring, it just made it a lot easier with the smooth strap versus the stitching, because then that way the stitching won't end up up having any type of, it won't end up fuzzing or fraying or anything like that. But again, that's only on that backpack. So let's say on the Neo Noe, you end up leaving it on the same stationary position, then it should be fine. So I think it all depends on how you use the item. But I sincerely hope that Louis Vuitton ends up rectifying the situation as quickly as possible. And I hopefully moving forward, they don't do this ever again, you know, and they just kind of maybe wait another month until they figure out which detail of the bag or item they want to go for before introducing it into the public. So I don't know, but like I said before, this video might end up causing a lot of negativity because of what I said, but I just can't help but feel that way about this particular situation. So hopefully that was able to help. All right, next question from Celeste, Pina, and Pizza Bella. If you had to choose one, would you go for the Metis monogram canvas or would you try the new Empreinte Metis? Great question. And I brought out the Pochette Metis and the monogram canvas, so we have a little bit more eye candy. And as most of you know, I am still on the wait list for the pink Empreinte Metis. I have yet to see it in person. The boutique that I'm on the wait list, they actually ended up pushing it back, that specific color, so I haven't seen it in the flesh. I am very, very excited to check it out though. Now when it comes to going between monogram or going between Empreinte, it's all a matter of personal preference. I think that the Pochette Metis in general is just such a fantastic bag. I talk about it all the time. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of hearing it, but I just really love that it's a simple bag and it just adds so much. It brings so much to any collection. And when it comes to going for Empreinte, let's say that you have, mostly have, you know, canvas bags in your collection. You want to add a little bit of variety. Going for Empreinte would be fantastic because Empreinte leather is such a carefree leather. I know a lot of people use it in the rain and the snow and they haven't had any issues. And usually when it comes to Empreinte leather, it ends up softening up a little bit and it might end up losing its shape. But because it's in the silhouette of the Pochette Metis, it already has that great structure. I don't see that happening. I don't see it caving in. I don't see it just wearing horribly by any means whatsoever. So if you want to add variety and you want something that's very carefree, then the Empreinte Pochette Metis would be a great way to go. Plus, some people maybe aren't too crazy about the monogram. They don't like the contrast between the caramel and the chocolate. They might think it's a little maybe too in your face. It's a little too loud. I say that very loosely, but the Empreinte is just one color, unless you go for the Marine Rouge, but still it's a little bit more subtle than the canvas version. So the Empreinte Pochette Metis brings quite a bit of details to the table as far as adding variety to any collection. And you know, I'm still madly in love with the canvas version one, the original one. There's something that I absolutely love about the chocolate brand with the caramel, and when this starts to oxidize and this has a honey patina with the gold tone hardware, I don't know, that's just something that ends up working out for me. So I still haven't seen the pink one, like I said before. So I don't know if it'll end up making its way to my collection or not. But this is what I talked about in my All-Stars, my Louis Vuitton All-Stars. This is what I consider one of my forever bags because I'm just that crazy about the silhouette. And if you want to add variety, or if you want to go for you know, something that does have the vachetta that will end up having the type of wear, like maybe that's something that you end up looking forward to, the way that the leather ends up oxidizing and it has that beautiful patina. It's all a matter of which one makes your heart sing. But I think either version, whether you go for the reverse, whether you go for the monogram, or whether you go for the Empreinte, it is just such a fantastic bag. So hopefully that was able to help. All right, next question from Shopping with a Passion. How often do you get noticed while out and about in California? If so, how do you feel about it? Also, do the Louis Vuitton stores you frequent know about your channel? How do they react to it? Great question. How often do I get noticed while out and about in California? Not too often. I have only met a handful of people until recently. I had the absolute pleasure of meeting some amazing people this past Friday. I went to the Louis Vuitton at Fashion Valley. They had the launch show for the Tahiti line. They introduced it. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw some of the pictures that I snapped, and I met some amazing people there. We had just such great conversation. I felt like I've known them for years and years, and we got to talk about handbags, and I mean, in the place that makes us very, very happy. So it was amazing. But up until that point, I had, like I said before, I'd only met maybe 4 or 5 people. So I don't meet too many. But when it does happen, how do I feel? It catches me off guard, to be honest. It is so surreal. You know what I mean? Because I'm really good with names. I'm really good with faces. So when someone says many, and you know, I look over. When I look over at them, I'm trying to think, do I know them from school? Do I know them from work? And then, you know, they'll say like, oh, I watch your YouTube. And it kind of takes me back, because it's like, oh, that's right, I'm on YouTube. You know what I mean? I don't know if it sounds weird or not, but it's so surreal. It's just such a great feeling. And I don't consider myself to be a shy person or a nervous person for the most part. But when I meet someone, you know, for the first time, you know, and they say they watch my videos, I tend to get really, I'm not really nervous. I tend to kind of, I don't know, I get a little shy. I don't know why. I don't know why. And then we start talking about bags, and then, whew, you know, I could talk about bags for days. And it just, I don't know, but it still catches me off guard. But it's just I love it. I love being able to talk with people about what I absolutely love, because I'm sure my family and my friends, they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know. But when someone is as excited about handbags or small leather goods as I am, it makes it even better. You know what I mean? And I've had people that'll see me out and about, and they'll send me a message on Instagram, and they'll say, hey, I saw you at, you know, whichever place. I didn't want to say anything. If you guys ever see me, ever, I don't care what I'm doing, please come up and say hi, or whatever it is. If you want to, if you feel comfortable, I promise I won't bite. I'm the exact same person on camera as I am in real life. And I have such a great time, you know, talking about bags, and you know, it's so much fun. I promise, like I said, I won't bite. I'm the same, you know, I'm the same person, and I'm 50 shades of crazy, as I've said before. All right, and how do the Louis Vuitton stores you frequent know about or do they know about your channel? There's only, I think, 2 or 3 boutiques, I think. 2 or 3 boutiques that know about my YouTube channel. And it never really, it's not something that I talk about too often. You know, it's not like the first thing that I discuss whenever I go into a store. And then the sales associates that do know about it, the only reason it's even come to light is because we started talking about the fashion house, and when this bag was introduced, or what this bag means and why it has this characteristic. And sometimes they'll ask me if I've worked for Louis Vuitton in the past, and I've said no. I'm just kind of crazy about handbags, and then that's how the conversation ends up starting. But I don't really, I don't voice it too often, but the stores that do know about it, they love it. And they say, well, they've told me that they like the fact that I give such information about the bags, especially when I do reviews. They're like, you give the good, you give the bad, and if anything, it ends up giving people more information about a certain item, so that way when they go into the boutique, it makes it a lot easier for the sales associate to pinpoint what the client needs, or what the client is looking for, when the client has that much information about the item. And it's not just my YouTube videos, it's everyone that's on YouTube. They applaud everyone that does reviews, that does unboxings, and gives their opinion, because having that much more information about the item. So let's say that I give you a review on something and someone else gives you a review, then you have that many more perspectives to kind of take into consideration about the item that it is that you're looking for. You know what I mean? So they love it, and I know that they end up watching YouTube videos in some of their meetings, and they talk about what we talk about, and they talk about just our overall opinions on some of their quality. I know it's come up, and I It's come up with me about a few of my videos, and I've told them I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, it's the best thing ever, you know, if there's something that's wrong with it. So they absolutely, from what they've told me, they love watching YouTube videos in general about their fashion house, and just being able to get feedback on it. So, all right, next question from Love98. I bought my first Louis Vuitton this year, the Toiletry 15. Congratulations. One day, my best friend was borrowing some lip gloss that was in my toiletry. I had put in the center console between the seats in my car, and when she put it back, she slammed the cover of the console so hard that she dented the side of my toiletry. I noticed this when I was taking it out a few hours after. My friend is so anti-designer, so she would not know how much this hurts me to see my new Louis Vuitton damaged. What do I say to her? I can still use it, but you probably understand how I feel, but I'm afraid she won't. I do not want to stir something up between us because of it. What do I do? I hope you can help me. Great question, and hopefully I am able to help. You know, kind of like what I touched base on a few moments ago, some of us have people in our lives that don't understand designer goods whatsoever. They don't understand our love for them, and they might end up voicing their opinion and saying how silly it is and whatnot. But the biggest piece of advice that I can give you is, since you said it is your best friend, the best thing that you can do is keep the lines of communication open. And what I mean by that is you can tell them without having to be rude or anything like that. You can let them know and voice your opinion about how you feel about your items. And any friend, no matter what, they should respect your wishes. They should respect your property. And, you know, you can say something along the lines of, I understand that you're not crazy about luxury goods, but can you please be more careful with my items moving forward? That way you let them know how you feel about your item. You let them know, you know, that it's something that's important to you. And while they might not understand the whole designer thing, they might not understand the luxury goods and any of that, because they value the friendship, because they care what you have to say, that's when they'll end up just maybe keeping it in the back of their mind and ensuring that that's something that they do moving forward. You know, and I've had friendships where I'll say something along those lines, and it'll end up causing, you know, it'll end up causing the relationship to be a lot stronger, because I feel that I can be open and I can be honest with my friend, you know, so that's what I would end up doing. And like I said before, this is your best friend, so I completely understand that you don't want, you don't want to have a falling out, you don't want to have a riff or anything like that, but at the same time, they should respect your wishes because they value the friendship. So that's what I would end up doing, just kind of keeping the lines of communication open and letting them know. And again, you don't have, you know, people don't have to be rude about it. They don't have to be nasty about it to get their point across. And I sincerely hope that, you know, everything gets resolved, and that way they understand your feelings on it. Like I said, they might not understand the luxury goods, you know, part about it, but they value the friendship and they value what you have to say. And that's the most important aspect of any friendship, is that they respect your wishes and that they respect what you have to say. So hopefully that was able to help. And I've had, like I said before, I've had situations like this happen in the past, and it ended up making the relationship a lot stronger. So again, hopefully I was able to help. And I'm sure you guys will still end up being best friends. And maybe there's something that she does that you don't understand. But you know, it's kind of, it's give and take, it's compromise, like with any relationship, when it comes to having that type of bond where you can tell someone how you feel without them taking it to heart, or without them taking it to an extreme, you know, where it ends up causing this huge fight or anything like that. So I wish you the best of luck, and again, hopefully I was able to help. All right, next question from oh my goodness, I know I'm going to butcher it. I'm so sorry. So I'll just say the last name, Varma. Since you've been using the Speedy B25 now, between the Pochette Metis and the Speedy B, which would be a better purchase if we can only purchase one? I seem to like them both. Great question. So again, I have the Pochette Metis. I feel like this keeps kind of flopping around the little interior that I have. So I have the Pochette Metis, and then I also have the Speedy Bandolier 25 monogram. I think both of these are fantastic bags. This is newer to my collection than this one is. And again, it's kind of like personal preference. I absolutely love the fact that the Pochette Metis has a little bit more organization. So when you open it up, you're able to see everything at a glance. It's able to fit quite a few items in there, and it's still very, very versatile. So I love that aspect about it. When it comes to the Speedy B25, it's also a very versatile piece. And, you know, I'm not one to use bag organizers or base shapers. I tend to have just kind of throw everything in my bag. So it might not be as organized. If you're kind of like me, again, you can end up going for an organizer or a base shaper. So it's not as organized, but it fits quite a bit of items. It fits more than the Pochette Metis has. But both of these are fantastic bags. Currently, only because I've had this one for so many years, and this one's still newer. I still love it, don't get me wrong. It's still one of my favorites. But this one, I'd say between the two, I like it a little bit more. Again, maybe it's because I've had it for so long and I've had great success with it. Even though this is the second one, like most of you know, I had some glazing issues with it. But I still think that this is a phenomenal, phenomenal bag. So if you want something that's easier to see everything at a glance without having to go for an organizer and that keeps its structure, I would have to recommend the Pochette Metis. If you want something that is still a classic because it is a Speedy, it's very versatile, and still fits quite a bit of items, then I would go for this bag. But either one that you go for, I think that they are just great, great bags and would add great pieces to any collection. So it's a tough one. But currently, I think I'm a little crazier over this one than this one because the opening, I've had a lot of people ask me questions on the opening. It has relaxed a little bit from when I first did the first impression, and as I continue to use it, the opening will start to relax a little bit more. So it's not as closed off. It's not as difficult or fussy to get items in and out of it. But again, this will end up relaxing a little bit more, and I wouldn't say it's the most generous opening. It's nowhere near as generous as the 35 or the 30, but it still ends up fitting, like I said, quite a few items in here, and this is starting to just kind of relax a lot better. So again, between the two, personal preference, but I think by a hair, this one takes it. For now, like I said, for now, because I've had it for such a long time. So hopefully that was able to help. And again, it's all a matter of personal preference. All right, next question from MPP275. I saw a video on the new Damier Cobalt Canvas Keepall, and it has a large inside zippered pocket. Any idea if this is going to be in addition to all the Keepalls? Fantastic question. When we were in London, I said on my haul video that I almost walked out of there at New Bond Street with another item, and that was the Keepall 45 in the Monogram Eclipse. A lot of you have heard me talk about this in other videos, and when I was kind of checking it out, it also had a zippered pocket on the interior. I mean, I was so excited about it. I remember the sales associate, he was just like, what? Why are you getting so excited? I said, because it has a pocket. That is awesome. And he informed me that this is something that they're going to add to Keepalls moving forward, because it makes it a lot easier for people traveling to put their oh my goodness, their passports in there, to keep it on the inside so that it's a little bit more accessible. Because as most of you know, when it comes to Keepalls, there's no pocket, there's absolutely nothing to hold your items in. So it's just an open compartment. So the fact that now you have a pocket at the very top of the Keepall for your passport, since it is a luggage piece, I think that is awesome. That is genius. It's about time they introduced the pocket to the Keepall. So obviously you can tell I'm getting super excited about it because I have been waiting for this day. So while I did pass on the Keepall 45 Bandolier Monogram Eclipse, I was able to get a little bit more information, and that is what they said is going to happen in the future. So I don't know how, if now all the ones that they're introducing have that. Like I said, I did check out a few of them there, and all of them had pockets. The 45, the 50, and a 55. I know the 50 doesn't come in the monogram Eclipse. I was looking at a different print. But regardless, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So awesome, awesome question. All right, next one from Pinja123. I am thinking of buying my first Louis Vuitton piece. How exciting. And at the same time, my first any kind of luxury piece. That is even more exciting. There are two small leather goods that I'm looking into, the Clay or the Pochette Mini. Which one of these would you suggest as a first Louis Vuitton luxury piece? I want something small that I actually already have the money to spend on, and at the same time, something that I can use often so that I don't feel like I'm wasting my money. Fantastic question. So here I have the Mini Pochette in the Damier Ebene, and I also have the Clay in the Damier Ebene since I'm currently using these. Okay, so I love the Mini Pochette, very, very versatile piece, but the Clay is also one of, it's such an awesome small leather good because it's also very versatile. It's small, but you can use it in so many different aspects of your life, and you can really get a feel for the quality. You can really get a feel for the canvas and to see if that's something that you want to spend your money on. So the Clay, not this particular Clay, but the Clay in general from Louis Vuitton was my very first item. It kind of opened the gateway to the fashion house, and a lot of YouTubers on here, they also say the same thing, that the Clay was the first piece that they ended up going with. And I think it's such a great item to add. It's such a great item to be your first piece because, again, it's very versatile. You can feel for the quality, you can feel for the canvas, and it's small, but trust me, you can use it in so many different aspects. So between the two, while I absolutely recommend the Mini Pochette, if you're going for your first piece, I would have to go for the Clay. So again, I feel that going with something smaller before kind of going into a fashion house is the best way to go. So again, you can get an idea as to how the item will end up wearing, or if it'll end up suiting your lifestyle. You never know, without having to spend a large amount of money on something first. So between the two, both are absolutely fantastic, but the Clay, I think, is something that I would highly suggest going for as your first piece. Next question from Miko Girly 99. This might be a stupid question, but being new to the luxury world, I noticed brands like Chanel, Gucci, Christian Louboutin, etc. have their cruise collections. Why do they have a cruise collection? What does it mean? I understand the seasonal collections, but why cruise? First of all, there's no such thing as a stupid question because I actually had this same question a few years back. I did some research and I wanted to get the best answer, and InStyle.com had an article on it, and they said that luxury goods or designers have cruise collections because it was to suggest clothes to fit the needs of very wealthy women who travel to warm destinations during the winter months. These used to be sold privately to stores with no interest from the press to freshen up their stock during the months when all the good runway merchandise had been sold or was on the clearance racks. Now, instead of 2 big seasons each year, there are 4, and the clothes that they show during the cruise season really have nothing to do with vacations. So I will make sure, it's a great article, I will make sure and link it on the description box below so you guys can have a read for it, but that is what it is. I remember thinking the same thing. What is it with cruise? Because it's always surrounded around destinations. It's always surrounded around like beaches, or maybe it has a nautical theme or what have you. So I was always really intrigued by it, and that is, I remember it wasn't anywhere as detailed as what I just gave you guys the answer, but it was, it was told to me somewhere along those lines. But like I said, it's a great article, and I will make sure and put it on the description box below. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. And remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question, not at all. And the last question from Francesca Nicole. I will be 20 in April, and I have been saving to start my luxury handbag collection for a few months now. And I just bought my first Louis Vuitton item, which is a 6-ring key holder in the monogram print with a rose ballerine inside. Congratulations! You know how I feel about that small leather good. Awesome. I was so happy I couldn't not talk about it. Everyone was so negative about it, judging me, saying it was so much money and it's a waste of my time. My heart sank. I will be buying my first Louis Vuitton bag in a week, and like I said, I have been saving up for a few months now for the Speedy B25 in monogram. I am already receiving negativity about it. Have you ever received negativity from your friends, family, or coworkers about your luxury items? If so, how do you deal with it? Fantastic question, and I have discussed this a few times on Minks Monday before, and without having to go into too much of a tangent, because I tend to go on rants when it comes to negativity, all I can say is don't let anyone dull your sparkle. You work hard for your money. If you want to spend it on handbags, if you want to spend it on small leather goods, on a cruise, on a car, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever makes your heart sing, that's what you should go for. Don't listen to what other people have to say. There might be things that you don't really care about that they're obsessed about. You know, like. Maybe they collect thimbles. Maybe they collect, I don't know, coffee cups or whatever it is, and it doesn't make sense to you. But to each their own. Everyone has their passion. Everyone has their hobby. Everyone has their thing. And you know, who are any of us to tell anyone else what they should spend their money on? You know, so if it makes you happy, if you have the funds for it, go for it, because that's what you want. And don't let anyone bring you down. It almost seems like coworkers seem to be the loudest when it comes to this topic. I remember my fair share of coworkers, and sometimes I would let whatever they were saying go in one ear and out the other, and I really wouldn't kind of feed into it, because it's almost like the more you feed into it, the more they have to say. So I would end up ignoring them. I would still end up talking about what I wanted to talk about. I will talk to anyone about, you know, about handbags, even if they don't like it, you know, but then it got to the point where some of my coworkers, I was just like, shut up. Like, really? I don't care what you have to say. It's not going to hinder me from buying luxury goods. It's not going to stop me from buying that handbag, because your opinion is what I should listen to, you know what I mean? And there were a few other times when I ended up using a few choice words that I'm not going to repeat on here, you know, but it's whatever makes you happy. Don't let it bring you down. And if your friends, your family, or someone else doesn't want to hear about it, you can tell me, you can tell any of us. We are just this awesome community, everyone involved, that we love to talk about luxury goods. And kind of like what I talked about earlier, a lot of us have people in our lives that just don't care about these luxury goods, but we all do. We get it. We're the ones that talk about making sure that you have all the bells and whistles when you get your bag, and how it makes you feel, and just the overall experience. So again, don't let anyone dull your sparkle, and you do you. That's all that matters. Whatever makes you happy, follow it. So hopefully that was able to help, and happy early birthday, because I know we are in April, so I don't know when your birthday is, but happy early birthday, and I hope you get exactly what you want. All right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. We had some amazing questions, so thank you guys so much for that. And again, I will put a link to the to the article from InStyle magazine, as well as some of the eye candy that we discussed. So thank you so much for watching. Now this week, I don't think I'll be able to put up a video tomorrow. If anything, it'll be up on Wednesday, and so it'll be Wednesday, Thursday this week. I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow, but just so you know. But this week's lineup, I have my Chanel All-Stars, finally, that I talked about a few months ago, and I will also be doing a dedicated video to VAT, customs, and how much I ended up saving in London with the goodies that I ended up purchasing. So hopefully that video ends up helping you guys out as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see a little bit more of my craziness. And as always, you guys, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.